President Trump is turning up the pressure on Russia, a deadly 5-alarm fire in Massachusetts, and more people are millionaires than ever. But most Americans say real wealth starts at $2.3 million. And speaking of money, today's trivia question is this: what material are U.S. dollar bills mostly made of? It's Tuesday, July 15th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Flyover Podcast. I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. Whether you're getting ready for work, sipping your coffee, or just clocking out, we appreciate you being here. So let's take off with the biggest headlines of the day. First up, President Trump is turning up the pressure on Russia and its trading partners. On Monday, he announced plans to impose 100% tariffs on any country that continues doing business with Russia if a ceasefire in Ukraine isn't reached within the next 50 days. He said the move is designated to force global pressure for peace. President Trump made the announcement during a press conference with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. He also revealed a new U.S. plan to send more Patriot missile systems to Ukraine, but this time European allies would foot the bill. Ukrainian President Zelensky said he had a, quote, very good call with Trump and thanked him for his support. Now to Massachusetts, where tragedy struck late Sunday night. A 5-alarm fire ripped through the Gabriel House Assisted Living Center in Fall River, killing at least 9 residents and sending 30 more to the hospital. Firefighters arrived to find flames pouring out of the front entrance and residents yelling for help from upper floor windows. The rescue was made even more difficult by air conditioners blocking windows and many residents having mobility issues. Officials say the fire is still under investigation, but the presence of oxygen tanks may have played a role. One resident remains in critical condition. And here's a headline about money that might surprise you. According to UBS, there are now nearly 52 million so-called everyday millionaires around the world. Those with between 1 million and 5 million in assets. That's up from just 13 million back in 2000. Altogether, they hold about $107 trillion in wealth, almost as much as the ultra-rich, with more than $5 million. The report credits rising home prices, easier access to financial markets, more small business growth, and a massive generational wealth transfer already underway. By the way, a separate survey found that Americans now believe you need 2.3 million to be considered wealthy. That's up 21% since 2021. By the way, there's a poll question about money later on in the show, so stick around to hear what that is. In politics, let's start with a major update out of the Supreme Court. The court ruled 6-3 on Monday to allow President Trump to move forward with mass layoffs at the Department of Education. The decision lifts a lower court block and clears the path for widespread agency restructuring. President Trump says it's about streamlining federal operations. Critics say, though, it could gut critical education services. Meanwhile, that fight over education funding is heating up even more. 24 Democratic-led states and Washington, D.C. filed a lawsuit Monday after the Trump administration froze $6 billion in federal education funds. That money was supposed to support after-school programs, teacher training, and English language instruction. The states say the freeze violates existing funding agreements and puts vulnerable students at risk. Additional details about this story can be found in the show notes below. In other news, former President Biden made a rare admission. He confirmed this week that he didn't personally review every name in his final round of clemency orders. Instead, he relied on staff and used the White House auto pen to approve thousands of pardons and commutations. Critics say that raises questions about oversight, while allies say it's a long-standing practice to speed up the process during transitions. And finally, a familiar face is back in New York politics. Andrew Cuomo is jumping into the New York City mayoral race as an independent, just weeks after losing the Democratic primary to Zohran Mamdani. Cuomo's entry could shake up the race in a big way, drawing support from moderates and complicating the general election map. We're brought to you by Native Path Hydrate. It is summertime. It is hot outside. So let's replenish all of that energy that you've lost throughout the day. Get yourself some Native Path Hydrate because other drink mixes are loaded with sugar or salt, but Native Path Hydrate is made with all 9 essential amino acids plus BCAAs for muscle recovery and only 230 milligrams of sodium, which is perfect for everyday use. I was playing basketball this weekend and I told one of the women all about it. I told her it is so much better than those other brands because it's completely natural, sugar-free, just 5 calories per serving, and they taste amazing. With their 365-day money-back guarantee, there's really no risk. So try it for yourself at nativehydrate.com/flyover. Once again, that's nativehydrate.com/flyover, or click on the link in the show notes below. Here's your podcast extra roundup. House Democrats led by Reps Ro Khanna and Mark Veazey are pushing to force the release of all records tied to Jeffrey Epstein, hoping to exploit GOP infighting over the issue. Khanna filed an amendment to a crypto bill requiring Attorney General Pam Bondi to publish Epstein-related files within 30 days, while Veazey introduced a separate resolution. The effort is unlikely to pass, but aims to put Republicans on record amid MAGA backlash to the DOJ's recent finding that Epstein died by suicide and kept no client list. The files remain a political flashpoint in the Trump administration's second term. Next, if you're a fan of this show, Season 7 finale of Love Island USA drew ruckus crowds to bars all across the country on Sunday night. And let me tell you, everywhere from Queens to Las Vegas, they all showed up to support their beloved couples. The hit Peacock reality show has become a cultural juggernaut thanks to its nightly episodes, interactive voting, and drama-filled storylines. This season ended with fan favorites Amaya and Brian becoming the show's first Latino winners. And next, the Perseid meteor shower, known for its bright, fast streaks and fiery fireballs, kicks off July 17th and runs through August 23rd, peaking around August 12th. Under dark skies, viewers may see up to 100 meteors per hour, especially in the early morning hours from the northern hemisphere. The meteors come from debris left by Comet Swift-Tuttle, a massive comet last seen in 1992. So clear skies, warm nights, and minimal light pollution make this one of the year's best sky watching events. Are you going to watch it? Let me know in the comments section. That's your podcast extra roundup. Keep coming back for more exclusive stories just for you that you won't find in the email edition. Coming up, a high school in California just made athletic history. But with what sport? I'll tell you right after finance. Let's talk money, starting with a sweet promise from America's favorite frozen treat. More than 40 U.S. ice cream brands have pledged to ditch artificial colors by the end of 2027. It's part of the broader Make America Healthy Again campaign, which aims to clean up processed food ingredients across the board. The move comes after consumer demand for more natural options and a few high-profile studies linking artificial dyes to health concerns, especially in kids. Meanwhile, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high on Monday, soaring past $123,000 as Congress kicks off a week of crypto-friendly legislation. The surge is being fueled by momentum behind the Genius Act, stablecoin reforms, and a general pro-crypto shift in Washington, all backed by President Trump. Big investors and tech lobbyists are closely watching this week's developments, and so far, I would say the market is loving it, and we'll get to that in a second. And over in Kansas, Panasonic just flipped the switch on its brand. New $4 billion EV battery plant in DeSoto, the largest private investment in state history. The 300-acre site will eventually employ more than 4,000 workers and provide batteries for Tesla, Toyota, and Ford. It's a big win for American manufacturing and for the Heartland's growing role in the electric vehicle boom. Speaking of the markets and money, let's see how the markets did yesterday. The Nasdaq rose 0.27%, the S&P 500 added 0.14%, and the Dow gained 0.20%. Bitcoin continued its climb up nearly 1% to just under 120,000, while gold dipped just slightly. The big mover of the day was Nebius Group shares. Of that, jumped over 17% after a major Wall Street firm gave the stock a bullish outlook, saying there's still room to run. In sports, let's kick things off with a big win on the international stage, right here in the US of A. Chelsea topped Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 on Sunday to win the FIFA Club World Cup, with the final played in New Jersey. What made it even more headline-worthy? President Trump was there, and he didn't just watch the match. He joined Chelsea's players on stage to celebrate as they lifted the trophy. It marked the first time the Club World Cup final was hosted on American soil. You can see the pictures in the show notes below of that moment. Meanwhile, a California high school just had a weekend to remember. Corona High School made MLB draft history when not one, not two, but 3 of its seniors were selected in the top 50 picks, including 2 in the top 10. That's the most by any high school in a single draft. Scouts are calling it one of the most impressive high school classes in recent memory. Imagine going to school with those guys. And over in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes just added another honor to his already very stacked resume. Mahomes was named the #1 quarterback in the league in a new ESPN poll of NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. He edged out Josh Allen for the top spot, while Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert rounded out the top 5. By the way, it's Mahomes' 3rd time landing the top ranking, and with 2 Super Bowl rings, most fans aren't surprised. Are you? Let's zap into today's science and technology headlines, starting with some high-tech pest control. A new AI-powered mosquito zapper is making waves for claiming it can shoot down up to 30 mosquitoes per second using laser bursts. Yes, lasers. It uses motion detection and artificial intelligence to track and target the bugs midair. The retail price, around $500, so maybe not your average backyard gadget, but definitely one for the bug haters out there. So if you really hate mosquitoes, the link to buy one can be found in the show notes below. Next, a new study out of the University of Toronto is raising some interesting questions about how we talk. Researchers say that slower speech patterns in everyday conversation, not just memory issues, could be an early sign of cognitive decline or Alzheimer's. Things like longer pauses, more filler words, or trailing off mid-sentence may be subtle clues worth noticing early. And finally, the blue shark's iconic shimmer isn't just for looks. Scientists have discovered that the vivid color comes from tiny guanine crystals in their scales, the same stuff found in fish scales and even cosmetics. But here's the cool part. Those crystals may also let blue sharks change shades in the wild, similar to how squid or cuttlefish adjust their coloring. I didn't know that. Very cool. Just ahead, are you flying this summer? Well, a CEO's jet lag hack, which is, well, I'm not going to tell you yet. I will say it is going viral, and experts say it really works. It's coming up next. Let's wrap up with a few stories from around the world that didn't quite fit anywhere else, but they're too wild to leave out, like this one. German customs officers got more than a sugar rush at Cologne Bonn Airport after opening a suspicious box of chocolate sponge cakes. and finding 1,500 baby tarantulas crawling around inside. Ugh. The shipment came from Vietnam and was flagged due to a strong odor coming from the box. Authorities say the spiders were being illegally smuggled into the EU and were handed over to a local animal shelter. Yay, lucky them. In the auto world, Mazda just revealed the 2026 CX-5, and it's turning heads. The redesigned SUV ditches nearly all physical buttons for a sleek, touchscreen-heavy interior, a move the company says sets the tone for its entire future lineup. Love it or hate it, digital dashboards are clearly here to stay. And if you're hitting the skies this summer, a CEO turned travel expert is going viral for sharing her go-to science-backed jet lag hack. What's the trick, you ask? Early morning sunlight, minimal caffeine, and light stretching at your destination. Not just a melatonin pop, okay? So experts say her method really works if you stick to it, so no more jet lag. Here's yesterday's poll question, and of course, the results. Do you still send handwritten cards or notes for birthdays and holidays? Oh my goodness, 86.4% said no, and 13.6% said yes. Eek! I guess writing letters is considered old-fashioned. Duly noted. Get it? Notes, get it? Okay, yeah. Anyway, here's the poll question for today. How would you describe your current financial situation? Wealthy, upper middle class, lower middle class, struggling, broke but blessed, or other? And feel free to leave a comment in the comments section below. I will say financially, I am hustling every day to help provide for my family. But in life, love, and happiness, I am the wealthiest person on the planet because that is what truly matters. You can vote in the link in the show notes below, and I will read the answers in tomorrow's show. Speaking of money, here's trivia. What material are U.S. dollar bills mostly made of? I didn't know this, but U.S. dollar bills are made from a blend of 75% cotton and 25% linen, not regular paper, obviously. This fabric-like mix gives currency its durability and distinctive texture, helping it withstand daily use and even the occasional trip through the wash. Yes, we've all put money through the wash. And the tiny red and blue fibers are embedded in the material as an added security feature. I hope you guys make a lot of money today and spend it on someone else. Imagine that. Thank you so much for listening, watching, sharing, and rating the Flyover podcast. Please don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else that you might love to listen to podcasts. I will be back tomorrow with more headlines. Until then, thanks for flying with us.